one building you show me which is perfect in Hyderabad. If you can show me that, then show me the drawings as built. If you can do this for me, I will give a lakh of rupees immediately. So that means whatever we see in the building, so this is the first ethic of an engineer. If we have associated with any building, can we show or share the drawings of that building perfectly as built and designed as per the standards? Next is the roads. We are seeing every year, every September, October, we start thinking about roads of Hyderabad. And GHMC is very good actually. They repair 3 times in monsoon, and after that again they wait for another monsoon. So this is a fact. In fact, when I posted that I am talking about ethics in engineering, one friend of mine from North, he is also our Institution of Engineers GC member, I think, and he wrote to me, please talk hard facts. This is the message he has given me, so I am talking hard facts. And the constructions without engineers, this is another major problem we are seeing. It is a professional issue we are facing. And the projects without maintenance, projects contract awarded without land acquisition. How many engineers signed the contract when there is no land? I have come across many actually. And the contract tender called without DPR. There is no detailed project report, but the tender is called. How many of us are involved in that? And DPR made without land or investigation or design or implementation plan. These are all the problems we are facing, and the projects conceived without feasibility reports. We conceive a project and there is no feasibility. After constructing, we start realizing it is not feasible. And the engineer working like clerk under uneducated or ill-educated dash. And now I will be talking about ethics. What ethics we have. I try to finish fast, sir. Please forgive me if I overshoot my time, but because that is also an ethic I should follow. And professional issues. I'll just give a brief introduction about what I mean by professional issue. I go to colleges, as I said, I give a career guidance lecture to students, and I inspire them, but at the end they will ask me, okay, you have inspired me so well, but why no civil engineering department gets campus interviews and the other departments get? So this is a professional issue actually I am facing for last 30 years. Since my beginning of my career, I asked why engineers don't get their due respect in the society. And my answer is, if we all follow the ethics perfectly, and if we all insist on our rights, and if we can insist on our rights if we are perfect. So this is the theme of my talk today. And engineers are not recognized in our country. You will be surprised, the word engineer is not defined in our constitution. It's only Institution of Engineers Charter that defines the engineer, and it is only National Building Code that defines the engineer, and it is only local bodies, that is municipalities or corporations, that define engineer. Nowhere else in our country engineer is defined. If I have to represent any stability certificate that I issue for a building or tower in a court of law, I have to depose myself with an affidavit that I am an engineer as per National Building Code, not as per Constitution of India. So this is a professional issue we are all facing. Fortunately and hopefully, this bill will be passed and enacted very soon, because the draft bill is there, but Engineers Bill and Engineers Act is a necessity. So these are the professional issues I am going to cover. So we should pray Mokshaguna Visvesvaraya. If we know any engineer that is coveted with Bharat Ratna, that is Mokshaguna Visvesvaraya, and we pray for his blessings to all the engineers who want to follow the ethics. The answer, I question many engineers when I have the opportunity that why you are not following these rules. They say that we are not allowed to follow the rules. I don't know how anybody can prevent one engineer from not following the rules. So, So this is the major issue. So let us take the blessings of Sir Mokshaguna Visvesvaraya on this day. And next is best person we had Mahatma, and he says, if you follow the rules and if you have the ethics, they will ignore you. And then they laugh at you also. In colleges, I was told students who are studious and who attend classes sincerely are called nerds. And in our profession also and the departments, if anybody is sincere and following ethics, he is isolated because they are a rare commodity. And then they fight you, then you win. This is the thing. You have to persist with your rights, rules and laws. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. And the recent history, we have seen without ethics what happened to the major corporates. I am sure we all know about the story of Enron, story of Arthur Andersen and Health Sound, destroyed and others seriously damaged. AG, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and now we are seeing more skeletons coming out. Vodafone we have seen talking about recently, and Dash Bank, and we are seeing so many banks. And executives with massive ambition and intelligence without moral compass. This is the challenge actually. We are intelligent, but if we are out of moral compass, this intelligence has no meaning. In today's ultra-competitive, high-tech, interdependent business world, these are all very important. The moral compass, which is lacking among all in general, and particularly more in civil engineers. So we have these career opportunities for engineers, starting with assistant executive engineer or graduate engineer training, or assistant design engineer, supervising engineers in sites, internships we provide, teaching assistant in teaching, academics is another, and research associate. These are all different categories where we make a beginning at this level. And everybody thinks that they at this level, and we are destroying engineers at this stage itself in the society. So this is a big challenge which we have to take up. And next is business opportunities, being a builder or contractor, developer, computer-aided engineering or quantity survey, planning, scheduling, construction engineering, and investigation. We see topographic investigation, geological investigation, geotechnical investigation, environment, water-based technology, and building information modeling, emerging technologies like virtual modeling, virtual reality, augmented reality, emerging technologies, and project cost, quality, time, delivery assurance, that is project management, project vision, location reconnaissance, project feasibility and phasing, product identification, implementation strategy, and project management financially and technically. Master planning, concept design, value engineering, workshops. In fact, for every project, an engineer is supposed to conduct the value engineering workshop and arrive at the final specs and the design brief for the project. Statutory appraisals, this is one thing. Now at least people are getting into this, otherwise we have seen so many projects being constructed without statutory permissions. And design development, detailed project report, technical specifications or technical sanction, and procurement process, vendor registration, bidding, procurement method, that is design brief and design build contracts, lump sum contracts, EPC contracts, and the labor, material, and the plant and machinery contracts. That is cost plus model. And quality plan, assurance, control, and audit, construction engineering, geotechnical engineering, structural engineering, and finishes design. That is facade also. Now there is a specialization of facade design for large buildings. And construction management, construction supervision, coordination, quantity survey and costing, change management. I am sorry, I am just opening up all the topics because I am touching this professional issues topic later. And safety plan, statutory, and surveillance. Safety surveillance is a big subject now. We are seeing CC cameras installed in roads and buildings, and contract administration, management, snag list and desnagging, as-built drawings, manuals handing over process, defect liability and obligatory maintenance. Now we are seeing RERA as an act that has come in. As per RERA, any real estate project, there is obligatory maintenance and defect liability of 5 years, which otherwise has been 1 year in our contract. So we have to revise that. Next important thing is, now I am coming into the ethics. The first and foremost is attire. I at least came across many times somebody wearing sleeveless banyan and 3/4 are boxer short and sitting beside me in the flight. So how far is this right? So attire, the way we dress, the way we present ourselves is also important. This I'm not trying to teach, but I'm trying to touch all the aspects of ethics. Attitude, next is the attitude. We come across some people not caring for our presence. When there are two people sitting in a car, one has to have an attitude towards the other person, the right attitude. Honesty is one of the most important qualities, and we have seen honesty is the best policy. So that and integrity, punctuality. Punctuality is another important thing which will inconvenience others if we are not punctual. We are fine, but others are not fine. Truthfulness. These are some of the things. So what do? Prevention is better than cure. So let us train engineers to be having all these ethics, motivate engineers to be engineers. This is integrity. And enlighten developers and builders to engage engineers. Nurtured engineering gets better engineers. This is my point. And the buildings gets distressed without building engineers. It's a two-way actually, building engineers or building engineers. So, and no causes or remedies for projects with good engineers. So we get good engineers by doing this. And next is the charisma without conscience and cleverness without character. A recipe for economic and personal failure of a big proportion. This we have seen in Enron and other cases. Companies collapsing, people running away from the country. We have seen now. They're all because of lack of ethics. Simple point. And President Theodore Roosevelt said, to educate the mind without morals is to educate a menace to the society. We are causing menace, and competitiveness, ambition and innovation important to success, but be regulated by core ethical principles. So I'll quickly run through these points. I'll come to the topic of ethics. And finally, the Abraham Lincoln described character as the tree and reputation as the shadow. Now we are seeing the reputation of great people today. We have got Padma Bhushan, Krishna Iyer garu, and we have seen people rising to the level of engineering chief contributing to the projects. So we are seeing their shadow today. We are all here. Character is what you really are. Reputation is what people think of you. That is the shadow actually. So that reputation will be built with the proper ethical values. And reputation is function of perceptions and intentions and actions are honorable and ethical. So while character is determined and defined by actions, that is honorable and ethical, according to the 12 ethical principles. This is what I am going to open today. Honesty. Be honest in all communications and actions. This is what we expect from our children. If we expect from our children, don't our country expect from its citizens. So the same thing. So be worthy of the trust. There is a trust between two people. If we are all sitting here, we all have the trust that none of us harm the other. That's why we are sitting. If anybody is carrying a gun here, none of us will stay here. So that is the trust we have. And be truthful, also candid and forthright. This is what we are lacking in engineering. Do not deliberately mislead or deceive others by misrepresentations, overstatements, partial truths or selective omissions. So this is commonly happening or any other means. When trust requires it, they supply relevant information and correct misapprehensions of fact. So RTA is one of the steps by the government where any officer can be asked to furnish the information. So that will give us the confidence, that gives the transparency in the actions. Next is the integrity. So personal integrity, particularly for engineers, I said, I make a statement, the integrity of an engineer is engineer being an engineer and doing engineering is the integrity. We should not do anything else. But we are seeing many engineers doing anything other than engineering. So this is the challenge. And so earn the trust of others through personal integrity. And integrity refers to a wholeness of character demonstrated by consistency between thoughts, words, and action. That is the integrity. Our thought is we are engineers, and our words are we are doing engineering, and our action is to be engineer for life. Maintaining integrity often requires moral courage. Yes, one has to have courage to be having integrity of doing what he is thinking. And we have seen, I mean, if any one of you are Telugu people and watched a movie called April Okati Vidudala, that is the real test of integrity actually. A person is challenged by his fiancé to talk everything that he has in his mind. And at the end of the movie, he is about to be killed by people because he talks everything that thought comes to his mind. So it's a real challenge to be having integrity. Live by ethical principles despite great pressure to do otherwise. Be principled, honorable, upright, and scrupulous. Fight for beliefs and do not sacrifice principle for expediency. This is what we see. People, many times we come across, we try to bypass the rules because the project is a fast-track project. I have come across in some fast-track projects where I am asked to violate some rules, which is a challenge. Next is the promise keeping. Next is the loyalty. Loyalty to the cause we are working is also important thing. It has to be taken a long way. And fairness is another ethical value. And